When Motoring TV debuted back in 1988, life for consumers was pretty simple and straightforward. The market was still dominated by the big three with the Japanese in the rearview mirror. But choices were strictly sedans, coupes, wagons, and yes, that new minivan. Well, today, cars are certainly much better, but my goodness, so many of them. I mean, it's overwhelming. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Now, to add to your confusion, you may have noticed car companies are beginning to change the names of their vehicles. Well, they're not really names, they're more like an alphabet soup or a serial number. Infiniti and Lincoln are the most recent, and now Mercedes-Benz is following suit. Well, this week we're in the beautiful wine country just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and we're here to check out the second generation GLK, a car I really like. However, its replacement is called the GLC. Here we go again.
Well, I think going forward, people are going to understand now the progression of the SUVs, because everything now is going to be G, GL, GLA, GLC. You'll be able to sort of logically follow along with the naming structure. It's a little bit like Prince, right? When he went to that symbol, right, and he became the artist formerly known as Prince. Now it's the SUV formerly known as GLK.
In my view, it's a whole lot better looking. I referred to the GLK as a little bit nerdy, and maybe from a male perspective, but it's on whole, the new one is substantially better looking, in my view. It has to be difficult because you've built up a certain amount of brand value in having a name around for as long as the GLK, the predecessor to the GLC, has been around. So you're giving up that to get something else, and I think the something else obviously is new customers, new buyers, new interest in a car that's brand new as well.
We always want to make sure that our customers understand our products, and we think, we've obviously done a lot this year to communicate, to help our customers, help our dealers understand where we're going with the nomenclature and why we're doing it. So far, the reviews have been positive, and we're trying to do it obviously in line with refreshes in our lineup too. So we don't just want to do it willy-nilly to, like you said, to confuse people.
You know, automakers love to talk about demographics, age, lifestyle, what they like for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. However, when it comes to the GLK, Mercedes has no doubt who was buying that vehicle.
Since the very beginning, it might surprise some people to find that we had a very strong proportion of female buyers for the GLK, and that was throughout its life cycle. And we expect that to continue with the GLC. Almost 50-50 we see split between male and female customers. The same 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that we see in our C300 sedan, so good for 241 horsepower, 273 pounds-feet of torque, so great power, very fuel efficient. 0 to 100 kilometers in 7.3 seconds, which for a mid-size luxury SUV is a great performance. We have what we've introduced on a few other vehicles this year, our new 9G-tronic transmission. So as you can tell from the name, it's a 9-speed execution as opposed to our previous 7-speed execution. So again, great performance, but also really big improvement in fuel economy as well. And we will have a diesel engine coming next year for Canada. So it was always intended to be a bit of a staggered launch for us. So for those Canadian customers that are coming out of a GLK diesel and they want to see that same power plant in a GLC, we will have that in 2016 as well.
I like the fact that they've downsized the engine but kept the power up, yet the fuel economy should be an awful lot better than the outgoing base engine, which was a 3.5 V6.
We all know when buying a new car that things like horsepower, torque, and fuel economy are important. However, here on Motoring TV, we have something called the head turning gauge. That means when we're driving around town, we like to notice if anybody is noticing the car, no matter what segment it is in. So with that in mind, I really like the old design of the GLK. It was very edgy. What do I know? Because this morning, one of the Mercedes designers said they felt that edgy is out and a new luxury design is in. The question is, why?
Manufacturers who try and dictate consumer tastes are pretty foolish. So you have to listen to what your customers are telling you. And the GLK it went through its own evolution, and actually people obviously remember the GLK for its boxy, angular look. This is kind of taking that to the next step and listening to what our customers wanted. They wanted something that was a little bit more rounded, had a little bit more of a sporty, dynamic shape, something that fits more in with an urban environment.
I think it's brilliant to drive. It's got lots of power. It's got excellent handling. And they don't really make any pretense of their customers wanting to go and kill the Rubicon Trail with it.
We have a good value proposition for customers, coming in, starting at under $45,000 for the base vehicle. So it's something we hope the success story continues for the GLC for sure.
Bottom line on the second generation GLK, the GLC, hey, as you would expect, it's improved over its predecessor. It's a bigger vehicle inside, more room for passengers and more room for luggage, and I think that's a good thing. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I like the old edgy design. I thought it really stood out in a crowded field. But then again, when it comes to premium car buyers, it's not so much about design, but more about the badge.